Y'all, I got y'all set up so ghetto right now. I got this ring light, and then I didn't have anything to hold it up, so I have a pillow behind my phone so y'all can see me. Hopefully it's not like up my nose. But anyways, I figured since I'm procrastinating doing dishes and cleaning up, like we're all good for, we'll think of anything else to do but what we're supposed to do. But I'm gonna get it done today. It's a must. I thought I'd come make a video talking to women, young women in particular, but really can go for any woman. You know, I'm only 29, but I'm sure even older women can benefit from what I'm saying, because sometimes it has nothing to do with age, but a lot to do with experience and what we've been through. And I feel like I have some wisdom to offer because I've been through a lot. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about dating, since everyone always has questions about that. And, you know, we all want to be loved. We all want to be in a relationship. That's how we were created. And so I thought I'd touch on that. And I just want to go over a couple things, especially if you're in high school or going to college, to kind of look out for, and just to give you some encouragement, because I know sometimes we look at other people or our friends around us and we see that they're dating and we feel like we're the only ones or that we're loners. But I think it's also important to realize that it's better to wait and have a quality relationship versus rushing to get into something and you're left heartbroken time after time, relationship after relationship. Like, you know, those people that always have a boyfriend or somebody, and then you like, well, dang, I'm still by myself. But you're missing the whole, you know, picture, that this person is bouncing from person to person to person. So clearly they're not fulfilled or they're not happy. So the first thing I want to start off with, because yes, I am a Christian and I feel that faith in a relationship with God is first and foremost. As cliche as people think it might sound, but getting a relationship with God or with Jesus Christ is first. Like, you know, I grew up in the church, but I was one of those people that just went because my mom took me or my dad took me, and that's what I was supposed to do. But I didn't have a real relationship with God, you know, and I'm still working on it now. I'm not super holy. I have a lot of things that I still need to work on, but I'm growing daily, and I'm making a sincere effort to live a positive, you know, as much as a positive life as I can, but I still struggle with a lot of things. But what I have learned, you know, from dating and being in a couple relationships, is that during those times with my most toxic relationships, I really didn't have a relationship with God. And I know you hear people say that, oh, have a relationship with God, oh, have a relationship with God. Like, what does it have to do with me having somebody physically here? And I'm going to tell you, it has a lot to do with you physically having somebody. So first off, I wouldn't even allow myself to be in those relationships if I was taking the word of God seriously and I was really talking to him and really figuring out what the word is saying. And I think a lot of times we just look at it as a book of rules, and it's boring and we don't want to follow the rules. But I feel like if someone would have sat me down and really explained to me, okay, why are these rules given? What's the point? Then I think I would have took it a lot more serious. So a lot of about, you know, knowing who you are in Christ, that's important, because, you know, a lot of the time when I was dating or talking to people, I had very, very low self-esteem. I didn't know who I was in Christ. I didn't know who I was in anybody. And I knew right from wrong. I always had, you know, that God's voice, or you can call it intuition, or, you know, that small voice, whatever you want to call it. But I know it was God telling me, you know, okay, this is not the right person for you. It was always red flags. I don't care what people say. 99% of the time, and I know people change over time, but 99% of the time, there are red flags. And there were just flags that I wanted to ignore because I just wanted to be with somebody because it was just the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And I just went along with it. And again, I had low self-esteem, low confidence. And so in those relationships, you know, certain things they told me would have me feeling one way one day, and then I feel another way another day, because it wasn't rooted again in what the word says. If I knew, you know, okay, I'm royalty, like I'm a child of God, he created me with a purpose, you know what I'm saying? I'm wonderfully created, fearfully made, you know what I'm saying? If I really genuinely believe that in my head, I wouldn't even let a lot of things slide at the time that I did then. A lot of things I allowed back then, there's no freaking way, excuse my language, if that's a bad word, but there's no way that I would let those things slide now. Again, not perfect. You know, I'd probably let a couple things slide. Maybe that's probably not okay, and I'm being honest about it, and I'm working on it. But a lot of things that I let go on in the past is like an automatic no. And again, it's because now I'm getting into my word, and I'm really, truly valuing myself. And when I say valuing yourself, I'm not talking about your looks. I'm not talking about your upkeep, even though that's a part of it. You know, that's a small portion. You want to take care of yourself. You want to take care of your hygiene. You know, you want to look good. You want to feel good. But I'm talking about the soul, the spirit, feeding what's inside. Because a lot of days you'll be slayed, you'll be looking good, and you still come home and you still feel empty, and you still feel like something is missing. So that obviously is not the answer. Another thing is, I would say, like, again, I knew the rules about dating and that I should be equally yoked with somebody. You know, I always heard that, or I should have somebody that believes in God or prays. You know, I always heard those things tossed around. But then I'm like, well, you know, when I get with the person, knowing they wasn't no good in the streets doing this and that, that I felt like, oh, well, I can change them, or, you know, I can win them over, or we can start going together, because I know I need to go, and we can encourage each other to go. But again, if my confidence is in this man to begin with and it wasn't in God, how am I going to persuade him to do anything? Most likely he'll be persuading me and influencing me, because I'm not strong enough in the faith already. You know, so you need that person to push you closer to God. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to be strong, or, you know, or at least y'all should be the same, like, playing field when it comes to, I don't know if I should say playing field, but, you know, at least y'all want to both be attempting to want to grow in Christ. But if both of y'all is just out there willy-nilly, and you like, oh, we'll just go to church together when we get around to it, it's not going to happen. And I'm telling you that now. And you'll keep putting it off and putting it off. And then one day you may hit this spiritual wall where you're like, all of a sudden you're just like, I want to give my life to Christ. Or you have this change. It happens to a lot of people. You hear about a lot of people getting married where one's a Christian or whatever religion you believe in, and one's an atheist, and then you feel like that other person is holding you back, you know? And it's like, if y'all would have both started out together, you know, it would have went a little bit differently. But you continued in the walk maybe, and the other person didn't, and now you kind of like stuck, and now you feel like you're not fulfilled, and you're like, dang, now how can I drag this person to church, or how can I get this person to pray for me, or whatever. So that's why, you know. And if somebody would have told me that's why God says be equally yoked, or look for this type of person or that type of person, it would have, you know, I feel like it would have had more of an impact. Now, people are going to make whatever decision they want to make, even if knowledge is given to them. But I'm telling you, like, these are the things I feel like that needs to be taught in schools, or, you know, people are touchy about religion being taught in schools, but, you know, at home, or have some type of women's program on the street, you know, where I was living. If these things were like really broken down and explained to me, I feel like I would have avoided a lot of things. And I feel like that's where now I can come in. You know, YouTube gives us this platform to talk about anything we want to talk about. And I feel like this is my way I can give back and tell other women so they don't make the same mistakes that I made. Some of you may know or may not know that I have a son. No, I'm not married. And, you know, I'm not proud of it, but I've repented. I've asked for forgiveness. Growing up, you know, we all have that fairy tale thing in our head where it's like, I'm going to get married, and then I'm going to have a house and a nice car and my career in place, and then I'm going to have kids. Like, you have those desires. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel. Like, God put those desires in us, and then he gives us the instructions on how to obtain those things. But we like the desire, but we want to do our own instructions, we want to do it our way, and it doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work. And I know people just don't want to have the faith to trust in God, but the proof is in the pudding. Like, clearly our ways is out here not working, and that's why the divorce rate is as high as it is. And then I hear people say, well, there's Christians and the divorce rate is still high with them. I'm not talking about people that just go to church. You know what I'm saying? Just because you see somebody go to church faithfully do not mean that they're a Christian at heart. I'm talking about people that's produce fruit, like they're genuine, like a genuine relationship with God. Like, quit looking at people and because they go to church and then they fall apart, you like, oh, well, the Bible don't work. No, follow the word and build your own relationship from your own heart, and try that, because clearly your way is not working. Our ways is not working. That's why we in the situations we in. Try for yourself. Stop looking at other people and letting the outcome of their relationship or their life determine what's for you. You try for yourself. You build your own personal relationship, and then you see what happens, because we just out here, we not getting it right. So that was my first mistake. So the second thing, again, like I was saying, was building your own confidence. I feel like before you get with anybody, don't get with people because other people have somebody. Get with somebody when you feel good about yourself. Because when that person come along and say something to you, or, might make a little side remark that day about how you looking or whatever, like, you don't want that to just turn your whole world upside down. You have to know who you are. So that's first and foremost. The second thing I would say, which kind of links to the first, is when you're confident in yourself, you can trust your gut and your intuition. You want to build a self-confidence where you can trust what your intuition, or like I say, what God is telling you. When you're going out on these dates, like, believe red flags when you see them. If you're out to eat and they rude to the waiter and, looking people up and down and just no type of manners. You know what I'm saying? And this is the beginning. Like, they're not even pretending to have any type of manners. It's a problem. Like, you have to think, if they're treating complete strangers like this, how are they going to be when you bring them to your family events or you bring them around certain friends? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want somebody that's going to be a people person. And then say you're a bit older and you already have a child, and you start seeing somebody new and you see him being rude to people in public. Like, I'm going to think, okay, you might be like that around my child or my family. So, keep those things in mind. And then the third thing that I wish I would have thought of then that I've come to realize now is sometimes we can be selfish when we date. We're only thinking about the now and how we feel. We never, I'm going to speak for me. I'll be honest. Like, I never thought, I always felt like, oh, I'm in love or I really care for this person. I'm going to make it work. But I'm not thinking about, okay, I'm about to possibly have a child with this person. Putting my feelings aside, is this person going to be a good example and a good provider for my child? And when I look at the people I've dated in the past, it's like, no, no, they're not. But I was being selfish because I'm like, but I love them and he'll change and we can make it work and this and that. And it's like, no, let's stop being selfish. This is why we have so many single mothers and, children seeing their parents get beat on and cussed out. Like, this stuff is not normal. And society is making it like it's normal. And it's all because we didn't take the time, or, maybe we weren't given the knowledge or whatever. But we don't want to point fingers. We want to accept responsibility. We didn't take the time to think things through. We are being selfish, And then some people have kids to keep a person. And then when it doesn't work that way, because a child's not going to keep anybody. I don't care if you're baby mama number one. Some people think because they're the first, I'm the first baby mama. like it's something special. No, if he's not respecting you, I don't care what comes out of you. It don't mean nothing. It really doesn't mean anything. People have 5 and 6 kids and they're not with any of their baby mamas. So I want you to make that clear. That's not a title. That's not something just alone to strive for. So just because you love somebody, don't be in a rush to have kids with them based on the strength just because, oh, I love this person, I want to make it work. It's selfish. And I'm not attacking anybody because I'm speaking about myself too. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you because this is how I wish somebody would have told me. So those are kind of like my top 3 things. Let me see. It's so much I want to say. Oh, another piece of advice, and I think this is just way up on the list. When you're dating somebody, sometimes you do go in with standards. Like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I won't accept this. I will accept that. And we might stick to them at first, and then we back out and we don't. We're not strong enough for temptation, or because we like the person so much and we want to prove ourselves. We throw all our boundaries out the door. I'm going to tell you right now, do not do it. I don't care how much you like the person. Until you get a commitment, do not do it. Because you know what? In the moment, it feels great. You feel like you're on cloud 9, but when it don't work out, you're so angry at the person, but it's not even so much you're really angry at them. You're angry at yourself. And you will regret it day after day after day because you're like, dang, I told myself I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put up with this. I'm not going to put up with that. And you want to be mad at that person. Like, how can they do me wrong? And I did all this for them. But no, you really, at the end of the day, when you go lay your head down, you're going to really be mad at yourself because you're like, you know what? I seen the signs and I didn't listen. And when you don't stay true to yourself, that's when you're the most heartbroken. I feel like a lot of times I was heartbroken. It was, yes, I love the person, but I think it hurt even more because I gave so much of myself. I crossed boundaries I shouldn't have when I knew that the people didn't deserve it. That's when it boiled down to it. That's who I was really mad at. I was really mad at myself. I scroll on Instagram and Facebook and social media, and everybody's like, dudes ain't this and women ain't that and this and this and this and that. But you see a pattern of the type of people that they date, and it's like, okay, are you really mad at these people or are you mad at yourself? Because you're choosing to be with these type of people. Nobody can be in your life unless you allow them to. So who are you really mad at? And I'm not taking any I'm not trying to make it sound like the other person is responsible. Like, if somebody's cheating on you or taking advantage of you, I'm not trying to make excuses for them at all. What I'm saying is, though, a lot of times when people are doing these things to us, we keep forgiving them and we keep making it okay, and we put our boundaries to we put our boundaries to the side. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're really mad, because you didn't stick to what you said you was gonna do. You allowed that person to treat you and do you any type of way. So you really can't be mad at them. That's why they say you have to forgive and move forward to heal. You got to forgive them, and you got to forgive yourself. Sometimes we'll forgive the other person, we still don't forgive ourselves. We still mad at ourselves, like, dang, how can I let these things happen? I've been there, and I have days where I'm still hard on myself, and I have to remind myself, you know what? I'm strong because of it. I can talk to other people and be a word of encouragement for other people. But, it still leaves a scar. And I just want to prevent any of you guys out there from having to go through that. So that's another thing. And I'm trying to think of at least one more. I want to give you guys like 5 good ones. I'm just, speaking from my heart. I didn't write anything down or plan this. But I'm just trying to think of my own experiences. I think the last thing would be not to go in thinking you can change somebody. I think we all want to be that girl like, oh yeah, I got him to change for me. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Because it kind of links with the last thing I was saying. You don't end up changing them. You end up actually changing yourself, because you're always constantly trying to mold yourself to make them happy. and then you feel that you molding yourself to make them happy is going to motivate them to want to change. Like, oh, well, once they see I'm doing all these nice things for them, then they'll want to change. No, it don't work like that. Everybody thinks like that. Every girl they've dated thought, I'm pretty sure we all think like that. Like, we want to go above and beyond so that that person can see our value. And that's another misconception I have. I thought I could show people my value by what I could do for them. And that's not how you show your value. I'm not saying don't do nice things for that person, but if you're not married to them, what everybody say, then don't act like a wife. Don't be doing wifely duties. You know, don't be sleeping together. Don't be cooking for them all the time. Like, don't do it. Because those are not the people that they end up marrying anyways. They end up marrying the person with boundaries, or that says, you know, no, I'm not with that, or I can't do that. People respect people with worth, with boundaries. We hear it all the time, but we don't apply it. We're like, okay, yeah, you know, I'm worth it, I'm valuable, but then we don't carry ourselves as such. And I'm speaking for myself too. I've done things where I said, oh, I'm not going to do that, and I did it. So that's why I'm telling you guys, stick to what you say. And I know a lot of you guys are out there thinking, okay, well, if I don't do this and I don't do that, then what if he leaves me? That's what you want them. That's what you want them to do. Like, that's the whole point of this. It's not working. You know what I'm saying? When we think like that, and then again we throw our boundaries to the side, it still don't work. And like I said, you end up hurt because you didn't stick to what you said you were going to do. I'd rather you leave me in the beginning than I drag it on, pour everything out of me, and it still don't work. And now I'm just tore up. Listen to your instincts. You know, listen to why people, this is why, you know, you can go on any YouTube video and listen to pretty much any story time or somebody that's been there, done that. And that's why it sounds like everybody pretty much saying the same thing. This is real. You know, and everybody's saying the same thing, but everybody's not applying it. Get out here and apply it. And, yeah, like, believe me when I say it. Like, I'm living proof. I don't just say this to just blow smoke. Like, I been through a lot. And I know you probably like, well, I'm going to take risk and I'll get over it if it don't work out. Like, no, it don't work like that. Like, even when you forgive people, you're like left with this scar for the rest of your life. Like, you heal, but it's like always a small little inkling, a small little piece that kind of bothers you every now and then. You know, it's like you don't want to live with that. So this video is already 22 minutes. I didn't plan talking that long, but I just wanted to come from the heart. Anybody right now that's going through anything toxic, or you just had that gut feeling like, man, I'm not where I need to be, I deserve better, I want to tell you, do what you know is right. Do what's inside. I can't tell you what to do, because you got to be with you at the end of the night. You know, you hear a lot of guys say, oh, don't listen to your single friends, they're just bitter, they're just that, and they're just this. And them be the same ones that be dog walking you and treating you wrong, but they want to tell you what friends to not have. If somebody's going to be telling me what type of friends to not have, it's going to have to come from somebody that's you walking out what you talking. You can't really think about the logic behind that. Like, people's boyfriends be telling them who to hang with, and husbands too, who to hang with and not to hang with. Oh, your friend is this, your friend is that. And they treat you worse than the friend they're telling you not to hang with. Like, that should be a clue, you know? And I'm not saying people don't have shady friends. There could be a good reason somebody's telling you, okay, you know, it's not probably good to be around that person or whatever. But you make that decision. You know in your heart what's good for you and what's not. But when somebody like that is telling you who to be around and what friends and family not to be around, and they're just dog walking you, that should be a red flag right there. Like, clearly you can't take advice from this person. So let's use discernment. And again, that's why it leads to stand in your word, reading your word, so that when something comes your way, you know what's wrong and what's right. You're going to instantly feel that conviction. And you still going to fall, even being in your word, but you will start to build a low tolerance for some just nonsense. I'll say that. You're not going to be scotch-free. can still get your heart broken. You know, even people that do it God's way, you know, sometimes it don't work out. Just because y'all both have, you know, faith in a higher power, the same religion or whatever, y'all just might not be a perfect fit, but you still will be equipped to see red flags that you guys aren't, you know, meant for each other. So again, I'm just going to wrap this up. I hope this touched somebody or just gave somebody encouragement or motivation or something to think about, especially you young girls. Y'all going to prom, y'all getting in a lovey-dovey mood, you know, going to the dances and this and that. And I know what happened prom night. I'm trying to save y'all from the heartache. Don't let prom hype you up, okay? But yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll be back next week to upload another video. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye.